Hey mom, can I have a quarter? Hey, it's Fragrant here. Got another quick build guide. Um, the other day I did a Arakali Fang 40 spider build and talked about how to level since you can't league start with Arakali's Fang, as it's a hard drop to get the first few days of the league. So, or at least the first day. Um, so I have this alternative way of farming up some currency as a witch. I'm doing this on an occultist right now just because I happen to have an occultist that was at level 77 or something that I could swap the skills around and the tree around and turn it into a dark pack character. So I did that quick. Um, this is not ideal. I would probably still level as a necromancer with this. Um, and I was actually looking at elementalist. It might be very good with the four golems, just because they add so much power. And the chaos golem gives a bunch of damage over time multi now. So I'm doing this as poison. So the tree and the POB doesn't seem accurate. It's saying I'm getting 700,000 DPS, which is not much, but it sure feels a lot better. Tankiness is not super great, but it's a incredibly safe playstyle. So all you really do is you scale 100% poison, and then you scale a lot of minion life, and then anything else you can do to increase your damage. So I take spiritual aid for all my minion damage nodes. Affect me too. My cluster jewel focuses on minion damage. I have primordial bond because I do have two golems with the golem commander node. So getting nice buffs from those, very, very helpful. I use a stone and a flame golem for the increased damage, increased AoE from the flame, and the life regen, and the increased defenses from the stone. I got 3 specters right now. I'm just throwing in Carnage Chieftains to get frenzy charges, keep them pretty steadily. I'm not max block, but I'm at decent block. So I'm not really scaling attack block, but I have quite a bit of spell block. Just enough to offset the fact that I don't have any spell suppression, or at least not much. And then I use evasion to deal with attacks. So overall, it's pretty simple. You take some damage over time, chaos damage over time, multis. I have to anoint toxic strikes to get my 100% chance to poison on hit. And other than that, it's just life and block and minion damage, etc. So, and minion life everywhere you can get it. Take all this minion life, take all this minion life, here and here, and all this is minion life as well. Very good. And then the cluster jewels, minion life, blessed rebirth is kind of a strange notable for a cluster in this build because it says minions created recently cannot be damaged. However, your Dark Pact sacrifices your skeleton's life, and Blessed Rebirth does not consider that being damaged, so they still get eaten up by your Dark Pact. And I use mine in a totem, not self-cast, but you could change it up and self-cast this if you prefer that. I just like the totem playstyle with this thinking league starter, thinking just easy early currency, easy early maps, and not really pushing it too far. However, you can push this build into absurd levels of DPS if you choose to. I like life from death. My skeletons are dying like crazy, so I'm getting a little regen. They get more max life, and then my minions recover a ton of life from my skeletons dying. I like hulking corpses because it gives them more 25% increased maximum life, so it's more life. Very good. And then I just have this cheap jewel that I found that has 4 beneficial stats and threw it in there. I'm not really stacking jewels. I wanted dexterity because I'm using dendrobait. I'll show you why that is in a second. Dendrobait's a chest armor. For masteries, I just grabbed this one. 30% increased minion maximum life. Don't care about their life recovery rate. So, and this one gives them a little more chaos resistance and a little more max life. So My minions are very tanky. I almost never lose any of them. So let's look at my gear. So what I'm doing is, like I said, a dendro bait. So I bought this one with good corruptions. But in a league start, you can acquire this and get a 5 link like in the first couple hours of the league if you rush and do all that stuff. If you don't, by the end of day 1, you'll have no problem having a dendro bait and probably getting it 5 linked. For sure 4 linked, but it's basically, even if you 5 link it, it's really a 6 link because it has socketed gem supported by a level 10 chance to poison. So you get the bonus link here, which is very nice, especially for early game. Makes you extremely powerful to have a dendro bait in your gear if you're playing poison damage. So the reason I wanted the dex is the last 2 lines: 75% increased damage with poison if I have at least 300 dex, and duration if I have intelligence. I do have my 300 and my 150 for the intelligence both met. So this is just nice armor. Not great evasion and inner shield, but not terrible. Has 22 all res, which is always wanted, and it has no life on it, so you can take your mastery, 15% increased max life if there's no life modifier, and body armor. It's a very nice life buff. So got the free poison. I bought this one for one divine right now with the good corruptions on it. This time in the league, it's cheap to buy that kind of stuff. Nobody cares about dendro baits. So I picked up a few things with good corruptions just to see what this build would play like with a little bit better gear, but basically the same gear as the stuff that I would league start. Want a 2 plus to level minion helm. All your damage scales on your minions level and life, your skeletons. So very nice. So got meat shield linked with flame golem and stone golem. Like I said, they're getting a couple of buffs from the helm for level, and then I got my raised specter in here too. So these are just all level 20 gems. They're not even level 21, so this is not as maxed out as it could be. In my dagger, I just found this with a decent chaos damage over time multiplier that was fractured, so I bought it. Threw a couple of increased minion damage essences at it. Hit those, not great, but 2 damage over time multiplier rolls is pretty good. And of course the minions dealing damage is good, so I wish I had cast speed instead of spell crit chance, but spell crit doesn't hurt you too much because you do more damage with your crits, that your poison that comes from crits, so it doesn't hurt you. It's just not something we're scaling. So in this dagger, I got Frostprinkle under your blast, my favorite move skill, faster casting, and convocation just to keep my guys with me at all times. Bought a leopard's arms with a couple of nice corruptions. This was super cheap too. You know, you get this day 1 of the league if you're playing early and won't have any good corruptions, but it's still a good shield for what we're doing. The main part of the shield that makes it so good is it's just so much damage. 40% increased duration of ailments on enemies, so that's 40% increased duration of the poisons you're applying, so it's a huge damage multiplier. And it's just an all-around decent shield. Lots of evasion, lots of energy shield, got some life, high block chance. It's pretty good. So I like this shield. Gloves. These are a key part to the build. So Veil Crest, pretty cool. You get +5 to level of socketed Veil gems, -5 to all the other gems. So your sport gems are low level. Pretty dang sweet. I bought this with a corruption that gives me plus to minions, so I have my Veil summoned skeletons in here for a +7 to level. So they're 21. I bought a good one of those. +7. 2 from my helm. Gets them to level 30, which gives me 25566 health on my Skellies. 25,000 and a half. 25.5k. Very good. The supports are all lower level. You can see -3 from item. These say -3 because they're minion, because they actually get the implicit. Withering Touch gets all 5 minus from it. So my skeletons apply Wither, which is very nice for chaos damage and poison. They have Feeding Frenzy, which they give to my zombies and my golems and my specters. Not that I'm doing much minion damage, but it's still a little bit better than nothing. And then Minion Life. So more Minion Life, more damage for my Dark Pact. So let's look at Dark Pact. Interesting spell. I bought this with level 21, 20 quality for like 6 chaos. You don't need that. You do need the 20 quality. It's very important. The third line from the bottom there, sacrifice 10% of skeleton's life to deal that much chaos damage. Uses your life if no skeletons are in range. 148 more damage with hits if using your own life. Those two lines don't matter because we're never using our own life. It's getting cast out of a totem. So 10% of my skeleton's life is 2,556. So that's flat chaos that's getting added to this spell. Very nice. So really good. Really good. You can see its base flat chaos is 324 to 46 at level 21. I'm adding 2,500 to it because of my Skellies life. Getting way more damage than the gems provided by itself. So gem level doesn't mean much. Support that with Unbound Ailments. I had this from a different character. Just threw it on there since I had the Awakened. Just makes the ailments do more damage and last longer. We're scaling poison damage. Void Manipulation. It's all chaos. Scales poison. Chain. The Skell Dark Pact is a chaining skill. It actually shoots a skeleton. Does a Nova around him. Chains to another skeleton. Does a Nova. And since I have it linked with chains 2 more times. Back to another Nova, back to another Nova. So we're getting 5 Novas with every single cast. Very good. Linked with Spell Totem. And I just have faster casting in there. I don't have very many sources of cast speed on the tree, so I know this isn't the best support. But when you hardly have any on the tree, this adds a lot of damage. So taking it off, I go to 0.41 cast time. Putting it on, I go to 0.29. So that's a lot. A lot of extra cast is a lot of extra poison. Anyway, you can get minion max life, take it. So I have that on my Eldritch Implicit Summon hat. Other stuff for the gear is nothing special. I'm just rounding out life and little regen and resistances on most of my stuff. So nothing special here. I haven't even remembered to get these up for Blight yet. That one is. And then I have Toxic Strikes. I already said I have that allocated to give me a 100% chance to poison because I get 40 from this node. I take this from the tree, gives me 50 and 65. I do have a Herald of Agony, which gives me 20% chance to poison. So that takes me to 85, and then that allocation right here, Toxic Strikes, takes me to 100% chance to poison on it. I also use Purity of Elements and Clarity for mana regen. Totems are expensive and they will suck your mana, but you don't have to spam anything, so you just need a little bit. 139 mana is just fine. One of these next few nodes I'm going to take will be skills cost 15% of mana as life instead of mana. Save myself a little cost, so that's coming up. Anyway, that's pretty much the build. So in a League Start scenario, you'll have a crappier weapon, crappier helm, this with no corruptions, this with probably a 4-link, maybe a 5 if after a handful of hours of playing, this with a 4-link, and hopefully some level 16, 17 Bale Summon Skeletons getting bumped up to like 22 or 23. You'll probably have max skeleton life of like 16,000 or something early, maybe 17. Still a huge damage bonus to your Dark Pact, and you'll cruise through any content that you come across. So I got a Maven's Crucible that I opened up here. I've never done one on this character. I literally just switched to this character today and played a little bit of Delve and just leveled him up from like 80 to 86 right now, I think I am. I'm guessing it'll go really fine. I'm not a strong character. I'm not tanky, but it's a safe playstyle. And even though POB says I do 700,000 damage, I'm pretty sure it's more. And we'll take a look together as I do this Crucible. So here we go. You're going to see a cool... I'll try to highlight it, but I might have to kind of pay attention to what I'm doing in this fight since I'm playing such a squishy character. But you're going to see the Dark Pact bounce around, and it's going to give you a nice circle about probably, I don't know, 5 inches in diameter or something like that. So that's the AoE that's hitting, and so it's a good AoE spell, but it's also a good single target spell because it's chaining through the skeletons, so it's hitting everybody around it multiple times and applying lots of poison. So tooltip damage is irrelevant because this is not taking into effect the damage from my skeleton's life, so it's just hard to calculate. Anyway, let's take a look and see what happens here. Who's coming up? I don't really know what's going on. That's the playstyle is safe because you don't have to be in the fight. Get rid of that guy. I don't know how many of these bosses are already dead. You can throw in your Veil summon skeletons too if you want to. Not that they do much. They'll just add a few withers. Let's see if we can see this circle. Yeah, you can see it going off there. So that's a pretty big circle. Veil summon skeletons have less life than my regular ones. Ooh, so I lost a handful of zombies there. I have 9 and I'm at 3 right now. So these guys did a little damage to me. But with basically a complete glass cannon build with just a little, what do I got for defenses? A little bit of evasion, almost 4k life, 2500 energy shield. So it's not the squishiest, but I don't have any real tankiness built into this character at all. Just the playstyle being fairly simple. So that's how I run the build. Let's see here. I want you in there. There, I'm back in my Skellies. Still have my zombie. Still have my zombies are up. My 3 specters. I don't know if they helped or not. I probably had some frenzy charges. I couldn't tell. Anyway, they didn't die. My golems didn't die, so they're providing nice bonuses. Fought 10 bosses in a packed arena. Didn't really take any damage. It's so safe. You don't even have to pay attention. You just drop your totems and your skeletons and run around a little bit, and damage just sprayed out all over the screen. Very simple playstyle. If you don't like it, it's like I said, if you're leveling as a witch with a necromancer, you just transition into a minion build like I was talking about yesterday with my Araceli Fang. Great way to get into an Araceli Fang. You get this build going for a handful of chaos on day 1. Get yourself into red maps, no problem, and then get your first 2 void stones, farm up a few divines of currency, and then switch yourself over to Araceli's Fang if you like that build better. However, if you want to, you can build this much stronger. I would think the best way to build this probably is to build it as a trickster. some of the stuff you need on the tree, I mean, you don't really need this. You don't need spiritual aid. You wouldn't have to come over here. Minion life, you could just get it with cluster jewels. You could probably cluster here and maybe cluster here and build it as a trickster with full spell suppression, no block. If you wanted to, you'd be fine. You might not get your minions to quite as high of a life. You won't have the Profane Bloom, which is nice for clearing. But you could steal the nice poison nodes from the assassin on the Flesh and Flame jewels, which would really be a big boost to your damage if you're playing poison. You could play this as a Templar Hierophant, really good as a Hierophant. Skip the poison, use a Soul Mantle, the totem chest piece, 7-link totem, gives you the free level 20 spell totem support in it. Just play them as regular chaos damage, increase your cast speed. You'd have a little bit of crit. I wouldn't probably scale crit very much, but you'd have some. But you'd have plenty of cast speed, scale arcane surge effect, things like that. Use these nodes and then take all the Hierophant's totem stuff and the free power and endurance charges, and then all the really nice arcane surge scaling stuff. Very easy. Either one of those, any one of these, play it as a necromancer. You'd get more life out of a lot more life. I'd probably have, with the same gear and same stuff, these guys would probably be pushing 30k life if I was a necro, just because of the ascendancies. So lots of options, but I just wanted to show you the Dark Pact playstyle since I talked about it in another video. And if you like this content, please hit the like and subscribe down below to help the channel. And thanks for watching.